Familia, listen. I've finally done it. I've gone over to the dark side and purchased this, the PS5 DualSense Edge controller. Now, I've been thinking about making the leap into messing around with this controller. As if you've seen on my channel, I have a couple of videos where I've modded or even fixed controllers, keyboards, peripherals, mouses, you name it. I didn't think that I would be taking the leap of faith and going into this controller. But now that we have it, let's take a dive into the PS5 DualSense Edge controller.
Excuse the condition of the box. Best Buy didn't do the best job of packing this guy. All right, let's open this guy up. Okay. Nice bag. They usually put them in this. Anything in here? Okay, just the manual. Okay. Okay, this looks like a hook that you can put on to like hold it up. That's pretty neat. Oh man, case is pretty hard. Okay. Something's rolling around in there. All right. Let's open it up. Okay. Look at that. All right, let's go over some stuff. Looks like we got the USB Type-C cable in here. Let's get that out. All right, this is a beefier braided USB-C to USB. Okay, it's pretty good. It's a standard USB cable, just braided and seems of a hardier construction. I always like that they add the braided cables and not something super cheap, especially with an elite model like this. Okay, it looks like some of these things got a little jumbled up, but we have some paddles here, which is pretty good. All right, so we got some smaller paddles here for the back, and those sit, I'm assuming, for those slots right here. Some bigger paddles. And some different caved and concaved, small and large. Heads for the analog sticks. I don't really use these, but these are pretty good. Pretty cool. And then this, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is to lock in the USB cable. So that it can lock in right here at the top. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really like this. This is like asking for like a lot, and it doesn't really like work flush. Like you have to like get it perfectly before it can lock in. Like there's no give. You know what I mean? This is kind of annoying. And I don't think I'm doing it wrong either. I just don't think that this was well designed on this end. Okay. You have to, With this, you have to get it right on the money for it to work. You know what I mean? It's like get under, see it in, and then yeah, man, this doesn't, I guess after a few times you can get it to work, get it to work flush. But yeah, I'm not really too big of a fan. What this is used for, like I said before, is to lock in the cable. But I'd rather just put in the cable. I get it from like a tournament standpoint if you want to like make sure that your cable doesn't come out, but this is just kind of like not the best way of doing it. Let's work in some paddles and then go over the controller. All right, so already I noticed that right here on the bottom we have our trigger depths. That's giving us more depth to go down, middle, and the lowest. I usually like to keep it on the lowest because that just makes it easier to tap in on it as if you were tapping on the top. This does feel oddly good. Like the button presses feel nice. They don't feel like sluggish, sticky, or hard. They feel pretty responsive. A little bit better. I think it's the same texture as the other controller. Let me just check. Oh no, it is a different texture than a normal regular PS5 controller. The analog sticks do actually have more grip to them too, which is nice. Yeah, like even around the edge and right in the middle, it definitely does have a better texture. Yeah. Yeah, and even the D-pad feels a little better too. These are function buttons here. I believe this is to do a number of different things, one of which is to change, because you can set up profiles for this controller. I believe this is to change those profiles. Okay, cool, interesting. So this button right here, right at the bottom, is the release to take the analog sticks out. Let's try and see if we can do that really quick. Looks like it's a... Oh, that's like not the easiest thing. I think I may have to mess with it just a little bit in order to... Oh, and these things, the paddles are kind of a pain to take out. It like requires a little bit of wiggle room in order to... I mean, that's also kind of a good thing because you don't want them slipping, but it is kind of a... Oh man, you have to push this down here like so in order to pull this thing out. Let's see if I can pull it out. Oh, that's okay. That's not the easiest thing to do, but once it's out, it pops right out. I wonder if it's just as easy to take this out. Oh, you have to lift this gray thing up. Yes, and then pop. Okay, that's actually pretty easy. And then I guess, yeah, you lock it right in. Okay, I could say this whole thing, okay, cool. We could just gone with Hall Effects analog sticks, but the ability to be able to take them out is pretty cool. Having a shell that requires this, let me make sure it's in right. Okay, I heard the click. Having the shell coming out from this little latch right here is not the easiest thing to do, though. That's kind of annoying. But oh, there's texture here at the bottom of the controller. That's nice. I don't know if you can hear it. It does feel good. Like, it does have good texture, good weight. Okay. Yeah, the controller feels super solid. I just think from an like exterior standpoint, like, this is really, really satisfying and cool to be able to switch these parts on the fly. I think I'm gonna use these guys and try them out. They're easy to get in, a little bit difficult to get out. I will not. Oh, this feels nice. I like the way. Oh, and that's super satisfying. They feel good and solid, but oh, I guess that's why they made it so a little bit of a pain to take them out, because even if I'm flicking up, they don't like come out. You know what I mean? This might be a little bit tricky too. I mean, my fingers wouldn't be leaving them here. Now, a lot of newer controllers actually have double paddle, kind of like the way the Xbox Elite controller. This is the first Elite controller, but the Elite 2 has it as well. Double set for pads. I guess I don't really use the secondary one. I usually just use the first, so this would be a nice touch. And I like the fact that it's not super impeding on the rest of the back. I get options, either that small. Oh, that's really good material. That's really good material for them. Yeah, I like the material of the controller. It feels really good. I don't like this. That's kind of annoying. And this just really kind of seems pointless. Versus a regular controller. Oh yeah. No. Also, besides this thing, this is to like put on a camera or a phone here, but this does definitely weigh a lot less than this does. Not significantly enough. I mean, I don't want to take this thing off, but even with this on, it does feel lighter than this guy. But that's the thing, I don't mind a little bit more weight to my controller. It makes me feel like there's durability in my hand. It definitely does feel like a durable controller. Now let's move on to the software portion of the DualSense Edge controller. Okay, so what happens when you initially plug in the controller is you're greeted with a welcome screen telling you to personalize your experience. That's one of the key features of this controller. It's personalization. So here it's telling us regarding the function buttons, the removable stick analog modules, customized back buttons, and the stop sliders, so the depth of the triggers. Here it goes more in depth with the customization. So in your far right, it's telling you about the range or the depth at which the trigger can go up and down.
That's really, really cool and important, just to close the gap between how fast it takes you to shoot a gun or so on and so forth. The input sensitivity for the analog stick is also really, really, really cool. You get to change the curve at which the analog stick moves and so on and so forth. And then just the mappable buttons going forward. This is just showing you how to pair up the functions, being able to switch between profiles on the fly, which I think is really cool, you know, per person or whatever per game you're playing. And this is just, again, showing you what the function buttons, pressing them and so on to get to the function menu. Okay, and now we're in the menu for the DualSense Edge controller. So custom profiles, feedback for the switches, function menu, so on and so forth. This is the custom profile hub where you can assign profiles and change them at will. This is where you can assign buttons. So right there all the way at the bottom, you can assign the paddles, whatever button you need to. I usually like to go with jump and then slide, so X and O. This was really interesting. So this was the trigger sensitivity, so the depth of how long it takes your finger to get to the end of the trigger. I had it at its highest sensitivity, and I saw how quickly it was able to tap, and I was really, really impressed by that. But that might be a little too close, almost instant. It was really, 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 really flush and cool to see it be able to do that. Yeah, you can see me here just changing it, seeing how much pressure I have to put in for it to be able to get to the final press. This honestly this is one of those features that really makes the controller very unique. Being able to map out the trigger sensitivity, that will really, really be able to change your game, because that's eliminating the time it takes to fully press down the trigger. Now we also have vibration intensity. I like to always put that off, so that way it's not impeding on anything I'm doing in game. Now on to trigger effect intensity. That was one of those key features with the PS5 controller that Sony really wanted to implement. It was like the feedback for the trigger, so if it gave it more or less resistance depending on what you were doing in game. I like to turn that off because I don't really want to feel for that. That might impede on what I'm doing in game, but for certain games it's for immersion. Stick sensitivity. So this is one of those things I was talking about, of how being able to change the curve and the dead zone adjustment to really be as accurate or play as close to the play style that you want to for both the left and the right stick. And here are all the different presets. So quick, precise, steady, digital, and dynamic. So that's about all the software related things of the controller. So again, that's even to change the intensity or the colors of the light, and the mappable buttons on the back for the paddles, changing the trigger sensitivity, strength, and depth. Also being able to change the sensitivity of the analog sticks, switching the dead zones, like adjusting them, and then the function buttons to be able to quickly change in between certain key features and profiles. So overall, how did I feel while playing the PS5 DualSense Edge controller? I'll be honest, it was a little getting used to, and I'm sure the reason being for that is because it is a more well-built, better material controller. It does feel grippy. It does kind of feel nice in the hand. You can tell the quality is better than your standard PS5 controller. That's not to say that the other PS5 controllers are bad, that this is just saying that the quality for this controller is better. The material that goes into it, the plastic, the grip on the bottom. I initially went with the smaller back paddles, and I thought they would be better just because where they sit, but to be honest, I quickly found out that I like the longer ones. I keep going back to chain settings, to move things around, to play with the trigger sense, just getting a sense of everything. I'm used to playing with two back paddles, but a lot of the newer controllers come with back paddles and like taps, so like 4 ways to press in the back of the controller. So I thought, oh, having 2 was kind of a waste, but no, 2 is fine. I mean, I usually only use 2, and I think that Sony knows that. Not that just me personally, but that people usually only use 2. With that being said, kept finding myself going back to change and or add things to the controller just to make it feel more personalized. It did feel very personalized originally, which is super cool. There is a lot of customization with this controller, and you can definitely see how it can impact your game.
Will I say that immediately I felt like I was a better gamer, a better player? No, but it was nice to have a controller that I could really make very personalized to the way I like to play. I noticed very quickly that it can make an impact, but it's just the thing is, it's a very personalized controller. If you suck, you suck. This controller is not going to make you any immensely better. It's just going to create a more personalized experience for you in a more, what feels like a more durable controller. Now, I haven't tossed this controller to the wall or any way, but it's just the quality of the way the controller feels that I can already see that's going to be best. I will say that not having the 4 paddles or 4 buttons in the back of the controller is kind of lame, because like I said, a lot of controllers that do have the back paddles usually or are more likely to come with either 2 or 4, more coming with 4 than 2. That's just the back paddles, not anywhere else. All in all, I've had a lot of fun playing with this controller. I will be honest. I'm not happy about it not having 4 paddles in the back, and I'm not happy about the price point, but I can see how the personalization for the controller is going to really impact my gameplay going forward. Should you purchase this $200 controller? I think if you're someone that puts in a lot of time gaming, this would be a really nice choice for your gameplay. Again, there are other options for controllers, including Scuff, Victrix Pro, and even Hori. So I would say do your research and see what the other controllers offer that the PS5 DualSense Edge might not. There is a lot of customization in this controller, and it is, again, I keep reiterating it, it is very nice to have those things because it makes it personalized to you. But the price point may be steep, and if there are some features that other controllers might have then this might not, it's up to you to make that decision. I like the controller. I like using it. I'm going to continue using it, and I'm going to make it my main going forward. And I might pick up the other branded controllers to see how they impact, improve, or downgrade my experience playing both PC and PS5. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the PS5 DualSense Edge controller, and if you have any recommendations for controllers for me to try in the future, controllers or peripherals. Let me know. Appreciate you all for watching. Thank you.